It's time for a special edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. This time, members of my team get to ask me any question they want. Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. Every week, as you know, I interview business leaders, entrepreneurs, authors from around the country, and I do it over Skype. So this week, I thought I'd try and do something a little different, and I'm gonna let people on my team, the Hasseman marketing team, ask me any question they want to know. Now, some of them have given me these in advance, some of them not so much. So we'll see how I do. All right, Libby Lou.
Okay, my question for you, Kirby, is what set you on fire to lead your career in promotional products, communication, marketing? Was there a certain incident or?
Yeah, no. So I don't know that I grew up thinking, oh my gosh, I want to be in the promotional products industry. Although my parents were both in that, and so I've been around it and I know the positives from it. I think I really grew up without the term for it. I think I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? And I worked at a corporation at one point, and Amy, my wife, was selling in the promotional products industry, and I noticed that the harder she worked, the more money she made, and that appealed to me because the harder I worked, the harder I worked. And so, and then, you know, what's cool about that, I think, is once I got into this industry and fell in love with it, I think it's kind of a combination of the two, right? The idea of being able to help people grow their businesses, and then the idea of being an entrepreneur come together, and I think that's what excites me about doing this each day. Does that answer your question?
That's it.
All right.
Thanks.
You. Appreciate it. Anybody else?
We're good.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Josh.
So my question for you
Yeah.
is, do you have any questions for me?
How do you get your hair to stand up like that?
I never wash it.
Awesome. Okay, next.
No, I do have. What have, and I don't mind it, I don't mean to take it slightly negative, but
No, go ahead.
what have been surprises since you've added graphic design as a facet of the company? What have been the surprise? One surprise, both positive and negative.
Oh, that's a great question. It's funny. It's a great question, Josh. And I think even when we first talked, you know, before you came on board, I said when it came to design, I know I've always wanted it, but I don't know what I didn't know, right? So I think the print piece, we historically had not done a ton of print. And the design piece of it has really opened us up to that, which is great. And it's a great business. I think more than anything, it's a great service that I didn't realize we were going to be as competitive.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then the other thing, and this is both positive and negative, is we have done some web development work. And I think it's a positive in the sense that we can offer that to clients, but I still, you know, that's one of those pieces that I think should make more sense, you know, not only to us, but to our clients than it really does. And I'd like to be able to do more of that, but I'm not sure it's in our strength and mindset. Does that make sense? Because I think sometimes adding services, and this is the fine line I think we walk, right? Is that I think adding certain services increase revenue and they're synergistic with what we do. I think graphic design and video are a great example of that. But as you branch out further and further, sometimes they just detract from our core competencies. And I think that one of my challenges here in the next several years is to decide what that is. So it'll be my job to if we decide to say, no, we don't want to do video, or not video, website anymore, I'll be the one that says no. And that's hard because I think it makes sense that we would do that. And we have done that, and I think we've done well. But it's a matter, especially with webs, is finding a client that it really makes sense to fit within our skill set and what we can do well for them, and that they can then, because they got to work with us. And I don't know that every client understands that. With design to a degree, with video definitely, with promo, we can just take it and go, we'll just do it. With web stuff, we got to have input from them, and sometimes I think that's one of the challenges we run into with that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mom. What you got?
Do you still love your mama? No, that's not.
I do. I do. It
No.
seems like a trick question, but I do. No, yeah. What's up?
No, my question is, you are probably the most positive person I know. And we all get up in the morning sometimes and things can go wrong.
Sure.
What inspires you every day to be that positive person? No matter what, you're always positive.
So, thanks. Good question. Thank you. So, I will say that not every morning do I wake up feeling positive, for sure. Some days more than others. I will say that I'm very purposeful about being positive. And it's funny because I think people read my blog and they might. An example, yesterday I wrote a blog and somebody said something on Twitter that really pissed me off the night before. And it hung with me. It really, it bothered me to the point where then the next day I woke up thinking about it. And so I actually, a lot of times, I will write some of those blog posts to myself with the understanding, the concept was let it go. That was the blog post of that day, and it was a message that I think of, okay, I want this to be appropriate if my daughters read this, but the message and the overall arching theme was a message to myself. And I think that sometimes a lot of what I'm pushing out there, it's cathartic to me to write. So at the end of writing that blog, I felt better, and I haven't thought about that Twitter post since. So does that make sense? It's like I quite specifically force myself to do that, and I think by pushing it out, it puts me in a frame of mind that is different than maybe when I woke up.
Okay.
Cool? All right. Thanks. Anybody else? Dustin is our resident tall person.
Okay. So we've done a lot of video for a lot of different clients and utilized it in a lot of different ways, different avenues. So if someone is not doing video, why should they do video, and what is an easy way for them to get started?
That's a great question. So the first answer to that question is if they are not doing, if you are a business in 2015, if you're an organization, nonprofit, whatever, in 2015 and you're not utilizing video to tell your story, you are absolutely 100% missing the boat. It's become easier, it's become cheaper, the technology is easier to just be a part of and understand than it ever has been. Whether you utilize professional to do it or not, you should be using it. And then, what was the second part of the question?
What's an easy way to get started?
Okay, so the other thing, and I apologize, let me finish so the other piece is it's easier to create video, and it's also way easier to distribute video. So in the past, you create and you spend $5,000 creating a video, and maybe you put it out on TV or you put it on a DVD, or you actually have to physically go out there with YouTube and social and Snapchat and video and Instagram and whatever. There's so many ways to put it out there. So that's the other reason why, right? And then the best ways to utilize it or start utilizing it. I mean, obviously, if you want to invest in any technology, that's fine, but it obviously depends on your level of expertise and your level of comfort, but you can shoot it with a camera phone. I mean, the iPhones of today, which I just got a new one, excited about that, they shoot good video. I think you can certainly import video from that. There's little, what was the Kodak piece that we have? You've got GoPro. There's a ton of ways to start shooting your own video that's not terribly expensive. There's editing software. Some of it's free. But honestly, some of the stuff that we've had as much luck as any is we shoot something and we go, okay, I want to do it in one take. And then you can immediately shoot it on your phone. We're shooting right here, and then hit stop, upload to YouTube, and you've got video content. So I think that if you're not doing that in today's day and age, you're missing out. And honestly, it's become easier and easier. So does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, man.
Thanks.
Thanks. That wraps up another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I really appreciate all the gang for grilling me today. There were several of those questions I'd never heard before, so that was interesting. And we'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching, but wait! Can you do me a favor? Please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done it already, the way to do it's right over here. And hey, if you want to watch the last episode, check that out over here. Again, before you leave, subscribe!